Why, hello, Seattle hockey fans. Happy Friday. We have got playoffs to recap, and I'm going to get you ready for next week. Yes, because next week we are going to start our campaign so that you know everything that you need to know about the number 4 pick in NHL history. We've got plenty of time before the draft. We'll be counting down to about a month coming up in a few weeks here. And we're going to get you ready for everything you need to know about the number 4 pick. That's what's coming up on this episode of Locked On Kraken.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Erica L. Ayala, your host of Locked On Kraken here on a Friday. We going up on a Friday. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Kraken your first listen of the day. And today, we're going to go to a few Locked On NHL hosts. Exactly half of them that are extremely excited, exactly half of them that are not too excited, and a quarter of which are now joining us in the official off season. That's right. We're going to take you to Locked On Flames, Locked On Oilers, Locked On Rangers, and Locked On Hurricanes to get their reactions to the set of games we had in the NHL last night. So let's start. Unfortunately, we got to start with my girl, Jess Belmosto, because the Flames are the first to flame out, if you will, and join us in the off season. Here's what Jess had to say about yesterday's loss to the Edmonton Oilers, losing the Battle of Alberta.
And just like that, the Calgary Flames season comes to an end. Hello everyone, I'm Jess Belmosto from Locked On Flames, and what a way for your season to end. A poor call by officiating in Toronto to overturn that Blake Coleman goal. I guess that's a kick now when you have both legs go in the net because you have two people like running into you. That's cool. Great night for Andrew Mangiapane. Just Jacob Markstrom should have been a little bit better. Emotions are very high right now. I think it's a little too hard to dissect what should have been a regulation win, but is now an overtime elimination game loss. So tune in to Locked On Flames tomorrow for a little bit more insight, but also, we're still going to be riding the positivity train because this team overperformed all year. Who were we kidding?
Wow. I mean, tough one here. I'm going to take you over to NHL.com in just a minute so we can break this down. And we're definitely going to go over the stats for this one because we have a mutual with Jess Belmosto. We had one at the start of the season. That was one Mark Giordano. And we have another one in your boy, Calle Jarnkrok. So we're going to get into that. But first, to the victor go the spoils. Let's hear from Locked On Oilers after a wild and crazy win.
Where is Kevin Quinn when you need him? Connor McDavid, overtime winner! As the Edmonton Oilers are going back to the first Western Conference final since 2006. And who else but Connor McDavid getting his first point of the game in Game 5 as the Edmonton Oilers take the series 4-1 in the Battle of Alberta. And it wasn't without a little bit of dramatics as well. 1 minute and 11 seconds went by in the second period. 4 goals as both teams traded chances to make it a 4-4 hockey game in the second. And it wasn't also without a little bit of drama as well. Blake Coleman's potential go-ahead goal in the third called back after a controversial kicking call. We will be talking about that game in this series for a very long time, but for the Oilers, they await the winner of the Colorado Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues.
Wow, love the energy there. You know, it's always good when your team wins. You heard from both sides. Controversial call, a kicking motion. Anyone who joined me on the Black Girl Hockey Club, Black Rosie Media live stream, I talked about the controversial kicking calls. The NHL still has no idea what a kicking motion is. I will stick to that, but let's take you to the stats. As you heard, it got a little wild and crazy as far as the scoring opportunities. But again, your boy, Calle Jarnkrok, we're going to have opportunity to talk about him. But things started off well for the Calgary Flames. Mangiapane gets the lone goal in the first frame at the 10:13 mark. Coleman and Backlund, those two get the assists. Then it's Backlund gets his very own goal. Then Darnell Nurse, the Nurse family, very dear to me as someone in the women's sports space. Darnell Nurse gets the first goal for Edmonton. They're trailing Calgary 2-1 at the 7:40 mark. And then speaking of number 4 picks, it's Jesse Puljujarvi gets Edmonton the equalizer at the 9:56 mark in the second period. Zach Hyman got the assist on the Puljujarvi goal, gets a goal of his own. We already saw that in this game. You get an apple, then you get a goal of your own, apparently. Zach Hyman takes Edmonton to the top of the scoreboard at the time. That's until Johnny Hockey and Calle Jarnkrok, your boy, they get the third and fourth goals for Calgary, respectively. But then it's Bouchard, Draisaitl, and Keith assist on the fourth and goal. Then things got wild and crazy. No official goals in the third period. We already heard about Coleman. Was it a kicking motion? Apparently it was. That gets called back, setting up Connor McDavid to be the absolute hero of this game. Wild, crazy. The Battle of Alberta belongs to Edmonton. Coming up next on Locked On Kraken, what we're going to do is go over the next series, or I should say the series that actually happened here on the East Coast between Carolina and the New York Rangers. And then later on the show, we'll get you ready for all the playoff hockey. So we've got NHL playoffs, WHL playoffs, and of course, AHL playoffs happening before we come back on Monday's show. But for right now, let me tell you about Athletic Greens. I've been using Athletic Greens, well, because they sent us over as a host. They sent us over their product. And let me tell you, I love the powder. It's something I don't even have to think about. I just actually ran out of my last travel pack, so I've got to put in another order. But what I love is it's become a part of my morning routine. I use Athletic Greens. It's one scoop, shake it up, and there we go. I've got 75 high-quality vitamins as part of my daily routine, thanks to Athletic Greens. And as I mentioned, in the pack that I received, which is the same deal that we're going to give you, you get the travel packs. And so here's what Athletic Greens is going to give you. They're going to give you a 1-year free supply of the immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 travel packs. That's what I got. The vitamin D, I didn't travel with me, but it's also easy to use. That comes with your order of Athletic Greens. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com, NHL Network. And that, again, will be your ultimate daily nutritional insurance. 1 scoop, 8 ounces of water. You mix it in a bottle that they already bring. I just like this one because I like to flex. I went to the Olympics and I have an Olympic water bottle. I just like to flex a little. But anyway, you can use your own water bottle. You can use the bottle that they provide. You mix it up, you shake it up, and you're good. 75 essential nutrients and vitamins in 1 scoop and 8 ounces of water, and you're good to go. Go to athleticgreens.com/NHL Network, and you will get the vitamin D and the 5 travel packs, which I highly, highly recommend if you're someone like me that's on the road a lot. Get your morning routine together with Athletic Greens. All right, folks, we have more hockey to talk about. We have more playoff hockey to talk about. But as always, I want to thank you for making Locked on Kraken your first listen of the day. And once you finish with our show, go head over to Locked on Now. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm giving you some of the nows, well, especially because it's the postseason. So you're getting a little bit of that now, but you'll get more in-depth analysis over at Locked On Now. It's available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much. Over 70% of our audience comes from audio listens. And then, of course, we're all integrating to YouTube. You can watch on YouTube as well. Everything on the Locked On Network, free for you. Okay. As promised, we're going to get into the other series. So it was a wild one for Edmonton versus Calgary. Calgary now eliminated from contention. So what happened earlier in the night? Well, that series goes on as the Hurricanes win Game 5 and are now in position. This series is in position to get really interesting. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's take you over to our experts. We're first going to start with John, who's going to give us the lowdown on how Ranger fans are feeling here in the Big Apple after Game 5.
Hey, what is going on, hockey fans? This is John Check with Locked On New York Rangers. The Rangers just coming up on the short end of a 3-1 score against the Carolina Hurricanes on the road in Game 5 tonight. They now, once again, as they did 3 times against Pittsburgh, have their backs up against the wall. They now trail 3-2 in the series. The good news is that Game 6 is in Madison Square Garden. The Rangers have played very well at home earlier in this series. And again, they do seem to be at their best when their backs are against the wall, which is certainly the case now. But as for this game tonight, I think that I can go back to something that I said after Game 2, and it definitely applies here as well. In the playoffs, cliche or not, and we try to stay far away from cliches on Locked On New York Rangers, but this one is just too obvious to ignore. You need to have your best players playing like your best players, and the Rangers simply did not do that tonight. There were too many star players on the Rangers that just were not noticeable or turning the puck over or just not playing well in general. And on one hand, you got to give a lot of credit to the Carolina Hurricanes. This is what they do. They play big, strong, tough, physical, good defensive hockey, and they have a way of making your superstar players look very, very mediocre. But, you look at the Rangers star players, Panarin, rough night tonight. Strome, hard to find him out there. Kreider was a complete ghost. Mika Zibanejad had the power play goal, but certainly didn't play as well as he can play. And then, Jacob Trouba and Adam Fox, both with misplays that lead to goals by the Carolina Hurricanes. So just not a great night for the Rangers star players, and they need to be better in the next one. And the good news is I think they will be. The Rangers have played very well at home in this series. And again, they're at their best when their backs are against the wall. We're breaking this all down on the next episode of Locked On New York Rangers. Do not miss it.
There you go. The stars have to show up. Is it cliche? It's probably cliche for a reason. But how are my boys North Carolina raise up? How are we feeling in the Carolinas? Well, let's take you over to Locked On Canes and see how they're feeling after that win.
Hey there, Kenny X. Giardellis here, host of Locked On Hurricanes. And the game day tie stays perfect, and the Carolina Hurricanes remain perfect at home in this postseason. They have now 7-0 at home. They have a 3-2 series lead, and after a 3-1 victory over the New York Rangers tonight. This was a much needed win, and it was great to see Vincent Trocheck Teuvo Teravainen and Andrei Svechnikov all get on the score sheet tonight. Those are guys that we've been needing to step up in this postseason, and they did tonight in a big way. The Hurricanes appear to have momentum on their side, so let's see if they can keep that going on Saturday in Game 5, where they can hopefully get their first postseason road win this year, as well as win the series. And one thing they're going to have to do in that game is stay disciplined. They did take some dumb penalties tonight, but we still came away with the win. 3-2 series win or lead, and let's go into Saturday and get another.
There you heard it. You heard John. You heard Jared. On the one hand, the Rangers looking for the Stars to show up. On the other hand, the Canes getting some productivity from players that they've been waiting for. Tale of two teams, if you will. Here's a breakdown of what we saw. This was last night. You look at the shots on goal. Hello, Rangers. Good thing happened when you shoot the puck. The Canes, 34 shots on goal. The Rangers only 17. Power play, both teams had 2 opportunities, were a 1 of 2. The hits about the same, block shots about the same. Here we go. You see that both teams score in the first frame here. We heard Zibanejad got a goal late in the first period. But then it was all Carolina after that. So the New York Rangers are going to be home. I'm here in New York. The Rangers are going to be here in New York. So we'll see what happens there. But they are going to have the home crowd, a crowd that's just absolutely starved to see this team be able to really just convert on some of their star power. Is it going to work? Can they push a Game 7, or will it be Carolina moving on? Only time will tell. So before we get into our next segment, which I told you is going to be about the number 4 pick, I'm going to get you primed and ready for conversations that we're going to have about the number 4 pick. Let's go over this schedule. So tonight we have Colorado and St. Louis. Big game here. Let's take a look at this preview. It's going to be a big game. We see here some of your players to watch in the series. McKinnon, obviously. Kadri, obviously. Then you've got Perron, Buchnevich, and then really comes down to goaltending in a big way for this game. We'll see what happens. Will this get pushed to the brink? Will Colorado be able to take advantage? They have the 3-2 lead right now. Lock up the series. Only time will tell. So that's happening tonight. Tomorrow, Saturday, May 28th, that's when the Rangers host the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll see what happens there. It's a 3-2 lead for 3-2 lead for Colorado. We'll see if this game on Sunday is necessary. And then you've got the Monday matchup. We've only got 2 series right now still playing. So we'll keep you posted here on Locked On Kraken. And of course, you can listen to Locked for the NHL shows and the Locked On NHL show. But I'll tell you more about that later. Coming up next on Locked On Kraken, though, I mentioned it in passing. The Seattle Kraken have 1 4th overall pick on their active roster. They have 1 4th overall pick in their front office. So what are we going to bring in with the number 4 pick? Are we going to keep the number 4 pick? Who are some of the other number 4 picks that are still active? Some of them that are still in the playoffs? And who's the best number 4 pick overall, except for whoever we pick at number 4 in Montreal? I will get into all of that coming up next week. We're really going to dive deep into the number 4 picks. But right now, before we then get into the playoffs for AHL and WHL, I have to remind you that BetOnline is your number one sports source is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. It is all of your latest odds, your news, your sports development, including obviously the basketball playoffs, the NHL playoffs, hockey playoffs, baseball scores, fights, etc. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information. You can head to the website today or use your mobile device to find more about the trends and action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Okay, so where we are going to end our show is we're going to talk about playoffs. I just ran you through the NHL playoffs getting started once again tonight. But we also have playoffs in the AHL. We've got playoffs in the WHL. And that's where you'll see some familiar names and faces and places, including the Seattle Thunderbirds. They got a big win in overtime. We talked about that earlier in the week. And so they are going to be hosting the Kamloops Blazers. And it's a game day. We love to see it. But what we also love to see is that the Kraken Community Iceplex is going to be hosting another watch party. So if you're in the area, hashtag WHL Playoffs, you can head over to the Kraken Community Iceplex 32 Bar and Grill tonight for the watch party. It should be a good time. All right, so that's what we have there. Now let's head over to the Charlotte Checkers. They're down 0-2 in the series. We talked about this before, but just as a reminder, this is the schedule that we're looking at. The Charlotte Checkers lost that last game, game 2, 4-3. We did have a few folks from the Seattle Kraken pipeline be able to score and get on the score sheet, but it was not enough to get a win against the Springfield Thunderbirds, and then got blanked out in a big way, 6-0 in game 1. So on the one hand, you heard Coach Kinnear very short with his answers, but felt that his team played well. Maybe I'm reading into the body language a little bit too much, but he was either pretty PO'd about some of the calls down the line or just kind of a little ticked off about the play not getting a result. But they've gotten progressively better every game. They're going to have the home crowd. And this is what I wanted to show you. If you happen to be in the Charlotte area or you can make your way, the family 4-pack is back. You can get a family 4-pack counted seats for round 3 of the playoffs. It's absolutely amazing. 4 tickets to the home game. Save big. Look at this. Like, come on. It's amazing what you can get. And you're going to be seeing some up-and-coming talent. So make sure you check that out if you're in the area and you can go watch the game. It's going to be a big one. We're going to have to see how some of the guys, again, Connor Carrick, Alexander True, Max McCormick, obviously Joey Decord having a little bit of difficulty in net. Defensively, though, the Charlotte Checkers are going to have to clean things up so that they even have a chance to get not only on the board, but get a win against these Springfield Thunderbirds. All right, folks, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of Locked on Kraken. I've been giving you kind of motivational little pieces and nuggets of information. They're pretty basic things, but always good reminders. And I say them as much as I do for myself as I do for you. I mean, I host a daily podcast, and every day I have to remind myself, make sure you're drinking enough water. Make sure you're going for a walk. I'm going to do that after we record today. But the one thing, smiling was a big thing. We've been talking about that. Another thing that I find very helpful, and this might not be your medium, but I really find it helpful and I'm at my best when I'm journaling and setting intentions and setting goals. So what I've started to do, and I got these pretty cool, they're like reusable, I use them for travel. I don't know if they're created for travel, but I use like a traveling, it's like a whiteboard. but it's got lines and everything. It's blanked out because I have the fuzzy background. Not like you could probably read that anyway. It's just a bunch of dates. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, these are just notes that I keep at the desk of things that I want to do, tasks that I have to complete. So that's one thing that I'm getting into. It's not even really my morning routine. It's actually my evening routine. The night before, make a list of things that I have to do, have to check up on, because then in the morning, what I like to do is just kind of get my mind going, but ease into it. Try not to check my emails right away, which is like, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I check my phone, but I'm trying not to do that. So I'm trying to do like some puzzles, got my Sudoku here, or journal. So get your mind active, like wake your mind up, but also find time either at the end of the night or first thing in the morning to do things that help settle your mind. I think that's been really helpful for me. I travel a lot. Sometimes I wake up in a different time zone, obviously in a different location, and having a little bit of consistency is really great for me. So I don't know what that's going to look like for you, but as you wind down, and again, these are things a lot of us know. We don't always practice, but as you wind down in the night, set your intentions. And then when you wake up in the morning, yes, get your mind going, but not with other people's work. Start working on yourself, your own professional person or your own personal development, your own personal wellness. Take those 30 minutes early so then you don't have to worry about fitting it in later. I hope that was helpful. As always, thank you so much for listening to Locked On Kraken. Now that you've listened to Locked On Kraken, head over to Locked On NHL. They have so much amazing commentary. You've got experts in the field. Obviously, we're talking NHL that can really put the draft that's coming up into context, the playoffs. We've got world championships to talk about, and more and more and more. So check out, now that you finished listening to Locked On Kraken, go listen to Locked On NHL. As we like to say here at Locked On NHL, as we like to say here at Locked On Kraken, hold fast, stay true, be good to yourself and to others, and I will see you on Monday.